Welcome to another episode of The Voices of Women. This is year three, season three of doing it. On the first episode with me is Priyanka. She's a Priyanka MP. As of now, she's not a member of parliament, but she's Priyanka MP. And she is an avid biker, something which I found fascinating for the first time I spoke to her. She comes with a background of mechanical engineering and then moved into biking, working with digital marketing for an tech company. And what really stuck me was that she said she trains women on off-road, biking and off-road training. And that was something very new, and I never had somebody talk to me that is something that is their passion as well as a profession. So that is when I said, Priyanka, you should come on to this podcast, and she's here. And welcome, Priyanka. Welcome to Voices of Women.
Thank you so much for considering me on this podcast, Sunil. Thank you for inviting me as well.
So the idea with this Voices of Women podcast is that most of the podcasts we see are of celebrities, having a certain expectation out of them, saying these are people who have already been extremely successful in eyes of multiple people. And the idea with this one is that you don't need to be successful, you don't need to have accolades and accomplishments. It's your journey is interesting to you, your journey is inspiring to somebody else, and if it inspires one more person to do what is their passion, what is their interest, the idea of this podcast is complete. That it
No,
just has
yeah,
to
since
be
I've
one
been in touch
interest.
with you for a while, I did love your concept, and it's a great thing what you're doing. Like, not
Oh,
everybody
thank you so
thinks
much.
in the angle you are thinking, so it's really good. And please don't stop. Please continue with this. It's
Oh,
really
yes.
good, and you're giving a lot of women opportunity and a place to share their stories because most of the women don't get that space, to share whatever they've done unless they are like famous, as you said.
Absolutely. And some of these people that I know of are not famous, but they've done extraordinary work. So one of the people that we had brought into the podcast was somebody who'd written 17 kids' storybooks covering multiple,
Oh,
temples across India. One more person runs an organization for kids who are specially abled and kids with special needs. So we have, or I have met some fascinating people through the space. And when somebody asks me who's going to listen to my story, my first answer is I am going to. And if that makes sense, tell it to me.
yes,
And
yes.
through me, people will listen. And that's
Right,
the whole idea. But
right.
I'm really excited to ask you, so what got you into biking?
Really don't know. Biking has been like a dream since my childhood. I learned biking when I was in ninth standard. My dad taught me how to ride with his unicorn. I learned it in 2 days. Not very accurately, but then the basics and the controls and everything, I was able to ride, not this confidently, which I'm doing right now. But within 2 days, I learned, and after I learned, my dad never let me touch the bike again. He was always like, "You're too young, get the license, do this, do that." And then it had been like a long time. And then I came to mechanical. All boys had a bike, so I got a chance to ride again in mechanical. We used to ride and play around and do all those things in college. And then finally, once I started earning, it was always a dream. So, first bonus I got after 1 year was the first, like, I invested it on my bike. So,
So
that's
what
how the journey
bike do you
started.
have?
I have a Himalayan 411,
And
Royal
have
Enfield
you kept a
Himalayan
name
411.
to the bike? I think some bikers have a name for it.
No, no, there's no name to the bike.
So passion of riding, you learned it, and then that passion continued. But how
Yes.
did you actually get into teaching this for other women?
That was also very spontaneously happened. Initially, even when I bought my bike, ninth standard to like after engineering was a big gap. So I had to relearn a lot of things after I got my own bike. And also, no matter how much you learn biking, unless you have your own bike and you ride regularly, you won't get that confidence. Riding once in a while and riding regularly are two completely different things, right? So once I got my own bike, I started riding and then I rode with couple of groups and it was fun. And then some people started asking me how you started this journey when I met other women, or let's say somebody's husband wanted their wife to learn, and they asked me if I can teach. And it was just like, let me give it a try. And that's how it started. But then today it's been something which it's just very close to my heart because it feels very
So,
happy when, somebody who doesn't know to ride starts riding. And like as a teacher, that is your achievement. When your student does a better job, you are happy. So
absolutely.
that
So,
happiness, like I've always been a teacher, like though I'm a mechanical, I take tuitions. That teacher in me has never, died. So this was a different kind of teaching, I can say.
because I had two, three questions lined up, but then you said you are a teacher. So I know you as the biker lady, right? So what other identities do you have that you would love to share with us?
Teaching is my mom used to take tuitions. So when I was in ninth standard CBSE, I used to take tuitions for 10th standard state board. So that's
Oh,
where my teaching journey started. Ninth, 8th, 9th, 10th, I used to teach. Then when I came to Bangalore for engineering and things, I wanted extra pocket money. So I started teaching there, home tuitions for kids and things like that. And even after I joined work, I had like one or two students. I never left that because that kind of happiness never comes in with money or anything else. Me achieving something is different than me helping someone achieve something. Like as a teacher, that is your achievement. Like if your student scores well, you feel happy, right? So that happiness is something different, which is hard to explain. So I never felt like I need to give up on that. So even today, I have two students. So whenever I can, I keep teaching. So that's just like a hobby, you can say,
and how do women find you, like, for you to teach them?
with respect to biking. Women find it very comforting and they feel like I understand their problems because me, myself, as a woman, when you train from a man or something, they don't understand your problems because men have been riding from childhood. They know what are the controls, how it is balanced and managed, right? But as a woman, we have different kind of problems. Main problem will be your fear factor. Like, will I be able to do it? And most of the men don't understand. They just teach you the technicality, but they don't touch on your confidence building or motivation part of it. And when you train women, that is the main thing you need to focus on. It is technicality, of course, but then the motivation, even though I don't have class for a week, I will stay in touch with them, saying, are you practicing? How are you feeling today? How was your practice session today? Was it good? Did you feel great? All these things that keeps them motivated more, I would like to say. And also with technicality, it is not just clutch, brake, acceleration. For women, the fear is what if the bike falls? Can I pick it up? Or else, how do I escape? What if I get hurt? What will happen? So, that kind of fear we need to address. Most of the time, there will be people to help you out, so it is not a big deal. But then also, it's good if they know to pick up their own bike, then they will be more confident on the roads to ride and things like that. So, when you address the fears underneath, and each person has their own kind of insecurity or fears, so which you need to identify when you interact with them and then talk to them, motivate them on those lines.
That's a very interesting perspective because it's not only the technicalities, clutch, gear, brakes, accelerator, balance. So it is also about the whole idea of your internal aspects of confidence. Can I be able to? Will I be able to? That's a very holistic space, and I think the moment we looked at it, I knew this has the woman's touch, right? Because you're caring for the person on the other side. You are taking it up not just as a job, but this is something more than just a job. It's not a list
Right.
of tick marks for you. You want to do
Yeah.
something deeper inside. So that's what I
Right.
felt. So, any experience you'd like to share?
Okay, there was one student she was married and her husband reached out to me saying, I am a rider. I've been trying to teach her for 1 year and I am not able to. And please, can you come and train her? So I was like, please let me try. And I gave it a shot, and it was more the underlying fear which her husband couldn't understand. And she also was complaining whenever my husband trains, he keeps scolding me, saying, you don't understand. I told you to do this. Why are you doing that? And things like that. So mostly it was that. And when I train, I make sure I don't scold anybody unless it is necessary, unless like they are not even like understanding what I'm saying. That is when I go to the scolding mode. If not, it is always calm, composed, because they need to feel safe when you train. If they feel the teach that too, let's say if it's a student who is very young, it might work, that fear factor might work. But let's say someone who is married, who is in their 30s, 40s, learning how to ride, if you are trying to, like, be mean to them or put them down, they will not learn. They will be like, I don't need this. So you need to be very patient and teach with her. So with her, it worked. Within 10 hours, she learned the complete riding. He said I wasn't able to teach in a year, but within 10 hours, she learned riding. Now she's riding regularly. So, yeah, that is one story which was very nice because she was very happy at the end, saying, I've been trying to learn for a year and then it didn't happen. Within 10 hours, I learned. Thank you so much. And that felt really good for me.
Uh, just steering away from teaching, how, like, when you sit on the bike, when you ride, how do you feel?
Just happy, freedom, confident. Like when I'm on the bike, I don't care about the rest of the world. It's me, my bike, and the road. That's it. So it is very calming. Even if I have a like problem or let's say I'm feeling a little low, I would just take my bike and like to go on a ride because it is calming. And that is the reason I got into teaching because I felt this feeling every woman should feel. It's not something only men should feel. It's a right for women also to feel this feeling of freedom. And also, when you have your bike, you feel very independent. You don't feel dependent because you want to go somewhere, even if it is like a longer distance, you just take your bike and go. You don't have to wait, like, my husband will pick me, my brother will pick me, something like that. There is no tension of anybody. You don't have to wait for anybody. You have your vehicle and you just go. So that is the confidence and freedom it gives you. And being a woman, I feel you are always told this is not something for you and this is not something women should do. So that way, it like once you start riding, you feel there is nothing like women shouldn't do this because people have told me the same for my mechanical engineering and now with biking. I feel there is nothing that women shouldn't do. It's just your choice and don't listen to the society. Just do whatever you like to do. That's what I would like to say because it gives you a lot of happiness. Like it's a feeling which is hard to explain unless you yourself ride, you would know it. So it is something
I
very
completely get it.
personal.
I've had like people who are also into like long distance cycling tell me that it is
Hmm.
a deep sense of meditation. At some point,
Right,
I
right, right.
and the cycle or I and the vehicle become one,
Correct,
right? We
correct.
both have the same sense of this thing.
Yes, yes. This is
Mm,
very
I'll
similar
add,
to that.
yeah, so, but how is it? Maybe I'll go back a little bit.
Sure,
Women in
sure.
a mechanical engineering field, how was your experience?
Not
How,
really great.
not really great. Is it the
Not
mechanical
really
engineering
great.
part or the women in mechanical engineering?
I would say both. Mechanical industry does not have a lot of like when you compare it to like what is currently running like AI market or the CS market, it is not very money giving industry. Like you might get a good hike after 10 years, but the CS people will reach the same level of earnings within 2 3 years. So the growth is very very slow and it's very stagnant industry, and also there is no younger generation in mechanical. In my company it was all uncles around me and it didn't feel like you can't connect or relate to that environment. Hardly one or two women were there and rest all are uncles, not even like a younger generation there. So it is not very interesting. It gets like very stagnant and very boring kind of place. So not something I would recommend people to do. I realized later on that I did mechanical because I loved bikes, which had no connection. Like I love machines in general. I like to repair or do all that things. So that's why I took mechanical. But being a woman in mechanical, they don't put you in roles with machine facing front. They think women don't understand machines. So they usually put you in roles like quality, where you have mostly system work, which was not why I did mechanical. So at the end, I changed my field. So yeah, yeah, that bias is still there.
Hmm. And how about the bias in the biking space? I have seen a lot of women get into biking, like maybe 3 years, 4 years into it. And maybe
Right,
also because Instagram is getting more and more traction, you're maybe able
correct.
to see more and more people. They were already there, but Now we're able to see. But do you still see a bias in the whole biking space?
Not everybody, like 80% of the people want women to come into riding because
Mhm.
guys do encourage women who come into riding, definitely. But there is still that 20% who, there are creeps around. You can't help it. Like, like if you're riding on the road, people try to race with you and try to come in between and try how skilled you to check how skilled you are and things like that. The best medicine is ignorance. Just ignore, and if they're racing, just let them race. You slow down. And that is something better to deal with such people, is what I would say. And mostly it is good. With the biker gang, it is good. The bias is there in the society even today. 100% sure. People see you in a different way and they would not like to acknowledge that it has happened with me. Like I dropped my dad to bus station one day very near to my house, and somebody wanted to move his bike from parking and I was in the way. So instead, I'm sitting on my bike and without helmet and everything. He can see that I'm a girl. He still spoke to my dad saying, "Sir, can you please remove the bike?" So that level of bias is still there. I told him directly, I'm like, "Not sir, it's a ma'am. I am sitting on the bike, it's my bike. I am going to remove the bike. So please don't do this." So yeah, these things keep happening, but then you can't get triggered for everything, right? You need to just be in your sane sanity sometimes. So
Completely agree. What are the positives that you have seen now that you have been in the biking space, riding space, teaching it for women? How have you seen the positives?
positive thing is how people respect you for that, especially in the biking community. Because I wouldn't like to talk outside it. Outside it, the biases and things are different. People see you differently. That's something different. But when it comes to biking community, people respect you for your skills because they understand that women coming into biking is not something easy, and they also understand the biases in the society. So biking community encourages you a lot and they motivate you a lot. And even if you're a beginner, because when I started into riding, I used to go on group rides because I was scared to go solo. I was not very confident then. So the group rides, I used to be one only girl most of the times, hardly one other girl or something. But the whole boys gang, even though I used to ride slow, they used to never leave you behind. Even though they can ride fast, they used to come slow down, be there with you, make sure you're safe, you're reaching together. So those are the positive things. They help you a lot. Like once you get into a good community of riding, there are a lot of riding groups in Bangalore, right? So you can get into any of them who supportive and things like that. And they will make sure you are not left behind. As long as you have the interest to upskill yourself, they will give you a lot of tips saying, do this, this will be better for you, this will help you out, and lot of encouragement there.
Very, very good to hear. And have you also encountered a space where you have shared something to them that was not known to them?
Yes, I have. Like since I got into training space of off-roading, I realized most of the guys who has not professionally trained off-roading, we are doing all the things wrong. Even when I went to learn off-roading, I had to unlearn a lot of things which I was doing wrong and then relearn how to do off-roading, because riding on roads and riding on off-road is completely different thing. Riding on road, mostly it is your focus and the bike balances on its own because it's a flat surface. But with respect to off-road, it engages every single part of your body. So it is very tiring and you need to have the right stance and posture. If not, it tires you out extremely. So after I came into off-roading, I've taught a lot of men also on some things when we go into off-road tours and all with the group. I've trained them like saying, do this, this will be easier for you, do that, and things like that. So that has happened.
What is the difference between an off-road uh, learning and say maybe a usual learning or usual
Bike
bike riding?
learning. So yeah, as I mentioned, fruit takes every, like, you need to be 100% there. You can't have even 1% here or there, and you need to engage every single body part because suddenly there is a rock, there is a sand. Most, like, the main problem with off-road is the traction. There is no traction, so there is no grip for your tires and your, to simplify it, there's no grip between the tires and the surface. So you need to know how to get the traction. Like let's say if you're going uphill, there's a different way to get the traction. Like you move your body weight ahead towards your front tire so that you get more traction there. And if you're coming downhill, you're braking, you move your body weight towards the back side of the wheel so that your braking has, like, your back wheel has more traction. So it is more of a weight management, body weight management, posture, and traction control. So these three is what comes into off-roading along with your stamina and strength, because you need a lot of strength training as well to off-roading. So, but if it is like coming to road riding, then it is pretty much simpler. As long as you are okay with you can relax, you can afford to look left, right, what is there, and things like that, and go. Because most of the time it's straighter roads, you don't have to be 100% focused. I mean, of course, you need to be focused, but then a little concentration drop will not affect you so much. Like, once you are, like, let's say you've been riding for 3, 4 years now, so you can afford that minute gaps where you are looking around for what is there. So that is allowed in the on road, but on off road that is not possible because suddenly a small rock comes and it will put you off balance if you do not see it. That is, the focus level is high. That's what I would like to say. That's the major
So
difference.
in India, I think especially maybe because Bangalore and this thing, your eyes always have to be not just on the road. You'll have to look at all of the surroundings. It's a 360 that you are
Yeah,
almost looking, coming behind you, who's
right.
coming right, left, center, who's crossing the road. Is it an animal? Is it not something? So you have to be always forever switched on.
That is true.
Yeah, and even
Yeah,
across
yeah.
highways, no, you don't know who's you're not sure of the skill
Correct.
set of the
Someone
other.
will suddenly jump in, a dog will jump in. You never know, yeah.
Oh yes,
Definitely.
dogs have a separate history with every biker, I guess. So I've every biker friend who has a dog story, every biker friend who has a wrong side driver story. So I think that is
BMTC
part of
bus.
BMTC bus,
Yeah,
BMTC, KSRTC.
yeah,
And I think every other state transport have their own
definitely.
sort of skilled drivers who look at the road and
Correct,
say, okay, I
correct.
am the boss of the road. And
Right.
then it gets really, really difficult. So have you had any such experiences where you're like, oh shit?
Lot of this, like, first, yeah. Initially, after 1 year, I went to my Ladakh. So I had like 5, 6 near-death experiences there where I almost thought I am gone. And then next minute I was alive and I was like, oh wow. I have a better skill. Like, I learned that my skills are better than what I thought about myself. So that is the moment of realization you get that, oh, okay, I am better at riding. One incident like Ladakh, this is common for people who have ridden in Ladakh, so most of them will have this experience. But I would like to say something within Karnataka. I was riding in Kalasa, the Ghat sections of Kalasa. We were returning back from Kalasa, and there was this KSRTC, the red bus, which has come suddenly. Like, we have honked, but the person has not responded, so we didn't know there is a bus coming. So we were in the middle of the road because it's a single lane, right? So it's better to ride in the middle so you can move left or right when required. And suddenly the bus comes in the blind turn. And we were 3 people. Luckily, one guy stopped behind to take a video, and me and another rider, we were riding, and that guy was in front of me. He sped and escaped. And the challenge was, if I had braked, I would have been under the bus. So, first thing you do is you see a vehicle, you brake, right? That instinct, somehow, I don't know, I accelerated and escaped it. The timing matched, and I went this way, and the bus passed, and I also passed. So that is when I realized, okay, your subconscious mind is also important, like how to balance all this. Because first
Correct.
thing, instance, what comes is you see a vehicle, you brake. But that day, the brake would have killed me for sure. So that sense, I
Split
still
second.
can't comprehend how it happened, how I processed it, because it was in a fraction of second, it just happened. So it is just like a lot of riding, and maybe subconsciously the skills just take you. That's how it is. Because most
At
of the
that
time
time, you're
you
not
can't
thinking.
think and then act. There is no time to think. You just have to act. Yeah,
Hmm. No, I think
that
that
was
that
one.
was a very chilling experience, right? Rajat, who's my cousin,
Yeah,
who that's how we got introduced. He posted a
right.
video very recently wherein the blind curves are a strong space of such adventures and misadventures.
Correct, correct. No,
So
you
it,
need to
it
be
is gonna
very
be.
careful when you're riding in curves. Like, it's not
Hmm.
How much ever you're careful, it's not enough.
Not
Like
enough.
even though
Yes,
you
not enough.
are doing the right thing, the other person may not be, and they will put you.
Absolutely. My maybe another follow-up question is how's family support been in all these adventures for you?
They've been like, okay, not too excited about it because they're scared of me getting into some accident or they're scared for my life. But other than that, they also know they cannot like stop me. They know I am not someone who will listen because they know me from childhood. I will do at the end of the day, I will do what I want to do.
What you
So yeah,
want?
they've been supportive that way, but only thing they tell me is wherever you go, just inform us so we know where you are. Don't just disappear. So that is the only thing. Apart from that, they are cool. They are not like saying don't do this or anything. They're not encouraging me to do it either. They're very neutral at this point. They're just like, huh, your wish. Just keep us informed and be alive. That's all they tell me.
So, oh, tell me more about this biker in her community.
So yeah, biker and her is something I started because I felt the need to have my own community. I've ridden with a lot of groups before I started biker and her, but I felt there were gaps about how you treat your riders or the experience, overall experience. And I always felt I can give a better experience to my riders if I start a group. And that's how the community started biker and her. And also, most of them, like, okay, if a woman is coming to riding, then they will be like, yeah, please come, and they encourage. But the idea behind biker and her was like, no matter who we are riding with, you need to encourage women because men say there are no women on the road, no women on the road. But the problem does not lie with the current generation. Like it goes back like, 15, 20 years. Because as a kid, if someone would have encouraged me, if my dad wouldn't have encouraged me to ride when I was in ninth, maybe I wouldn't be riding today. Right, so that concept is what Biker and Her is all about. So it is not only for women, it's a mixed community for all genders. There is no bias on that. But whoever comes to any ride, we talk about this saying encourage your kids or your neighbor's kids. Whoever feels like, whoever sees your bike and be like, wow, if it's a girl, please encourage her saying, you can do this. Don't tell them this is not something for you. Always tell them this is something for you. You can do this once you are grown up. So that way the confidence builds at the younger age itself. The problem at today's generation is the confidence is not there because they've been told this is not for you. So the problem lies there. So Biker and Her is trying to eradicate that problem for future. So the only concept is please encourage everybody, brother, sister, like your sisters, wives, kids, anybody of any age. If they say or they're showing interest, they may not come out and say, I want to learn. They might just look at you and wave at you on the road. So give them an experience, make a kid sit on your bike, take her for a ride, and then talk to her and be like, yeah, you can also ride. You like to ride, you want to ride, you can ride once you grow up. Just give them that small motivation. Then you will see a lot of women on the road in the upcoming generations. Because I feel it's a problem, psychological problem, which has been inculcated from a younger age. So Biker Inner is just trying to eradicate that.
It's a very beautiful concept that you say, okay, we're sort of looking at what happens in the next generation and sort of working through that right now. That's a fantastic idea. And because it's a group that you enable, so you will know your previous experiences and you want to give it a
Right.
better experience, make sure the right kind of people jump in and be a part of the community. So very wonderful space. So maybe one final question before we close is what are your tips to women or youngsters who want to learn? Biking and off-road.
First thing I would say, don't be shy to spend on it because the right training is very important. If not, you might doing the wrong things on the road, which is not advisable. Because you see a lot of comments on how women don't know to ride and things like that. So I would say take a good training. I'm not saying from me, from anybody. There are many trainers. So first take a professional training, understand what you're doing and what is right to do and what is wrong to do. Secondly, I would say never shy away because someone is telling you not to do it. If you want to do it, go for it, learn it well, and just take a bike and start riding. So, yeah, those are the two main things I would like to say. Also, third thing will be fear, not with respect to biking, with respect to anything in general. Women need to stop being scared. My one small advice would be do the things what you're scared. You will lose the fear. Do it 5 times, sixth time you will not have the fear. Do it with a group. Don't do it alone. You are scared. Okay, take two, three people with you. Do it in a group. Do it 5 times, sixth time the fear will run away. So that's all I would like to say.
Wow. Why should women tell their stories to a larger audience? What's your thoughts on that?
So, as you said, we see a lot of women on Instagram now and a lot of women coming up on riding, right? That is because of Instagram or social media. You see someone else doing it, you get the confidence that you can also do it. So, women should come and tell their stories more often because looking at you, some others will get motivated, some kid will get motivated saying, oh, she's doing it, I can also do it. Looking at men, they may not get the same feeling. Oh, he's a guy, he can do it. That is how the mentality is, right? So when they see a girl doing something different, then they will get the confidence saying, oh, if a girl, being a girl, she can do it, being a girl, I can also do it. So you are motivating a younger generation of women to come up and do better and also to eradicate that fear in them and to bring that equality. We have always been fighting for equality, but it is something we need to bring. It's not just saying equality, equality. You need to do, like, act rather than just talk about equality. Once you start acting and sharing your stories, other people will get motivated, and then probably someday in the future we can actually see the equality. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it is a journey. I think equality, equity,
Right.
there's a journey
Yeah,
of
yeah, it's a journey,
struggle.
definitely. And you are
Oh,
doing a great job to make it happen. So
thank you so
kudos to
much.
that.